All right,
Yeah,
we are back. We are live. Finally, got my co-host to jump on.
there we
Technology
go.
has been fighting with us for months now with this Facebook Live thing, but I think we got it figured out. E, thanks for coming on, man.
That's what's up. I came prepared, so I got my subway hat, my
Oh
Chicago
yeah.
Bulls subway hat here that I can't fit.
Oh my God, I'm so
I
mad.
could
My
do one of
man
those.
threw all my stuff out.
This one's kind of broken though. It does have some cracks right here. This thing is sat in my grandmother's car because she was It's funny enough, she was actually a pretty big Bulls fan, so
Okay.
she got that from Subway. It sat in the rear windshield for a long time, but
Oh, so you got that sun damage, so it deadened the color.
no, it's not the color. It's just that it's cracked. That's really what it is.
Oh yeah, the sun will do everything to that. Yeah.
So now I got a question.
All right.
How do we see the chat, or how do we see what people are saying in the chat?
Comments. I got the
Yep,
comments right here. Yep. So I can actually put them. I can show them up there. So once they comment, it'll come up on your screen,
gotcha.
which is pretty awesome. Really like this interface.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Hopefully, this is a platform that we could use more often.
Yeah. I think that this is something we can use on a weekly basis. Get more interactive with our fans. Uh,
Exactly.
let's see. Let's see. So, well, how do you feel about this, man? Patrick Williams, point forward, small forward out of Florida State, 6'8", 225. He's got to put on some weight at 6'8", 225. Dude, I weigh 240, and I'm
So
6'8".
here's the question though. What do you know about him?
Jack,
Yeah,
you know
same.
what?
That's the
Jack.
problem is because there's nobody in this draft aside from the top guys like Wiseman.
Yeah,
We know about Lamelo Ball, or is that which one of the balls that got drafted?
yeah.
Um,
Lamelo got drafted to Charlotte. So,
yeah,
do you know what's
the,
interesting about that? His dad was talking crap that he can beat him on one. I guarantee you, Michael's going to shut him up.
yeah. I mean, I thought that was kind of funny. I wonder if Mike just did that so that you could have
Oh, you know how Mike
Lamar
is.
show up. Yeah,
You know
because
how
he's
Mike
so
is. He'll
yeah,
hold a
yeah.
grudge.
Well, and I thought that was a funny pick for them to be able to do something like that. So, I mean, look, I don't know anything about this kid. Nobody knows anything about this kid. That's the thing. You didn't get to have an NCAA tournament.
No, you didn't have that, and you didn't have the combine. You didn't have, the ability to go see these players. Usually, they would do it at right down the street from me at the
Mm-hmm.
Moody Bible. That's where they would
Mm-hmm.
have, the combine, a little bit of a combine here, and they would get to showcase what they can do. So, and it was pretty awesome because our local news would actually really cover that and give us 1 through 10 and break it down for us on what we can see,
Right.
especially when we're in this position.
Right.
Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm pulling up his information. Again, he's 19. Hometown is North Carolina, Charlotte. Let's see. He was projected to go 7th to Detroit. So here we go again, jumping when we could have traded
No,
something else for another pick.
because NBA projections are garbage. This is not the NBA projections. When you get past number three, when you
Uh-huh.
have your bona fide number one, it was Edwards. You had Wiseman that went number two, and then you had Ball going number
Well,
three.
right.
The rest was a crapshoot because you didn't know who was coming next. You got Williams, you got Denny Advia, you got Obi Toppin. There's
Danny
probably about
Danny Avia hasn't been picked up. Right now they picked Onikia
yeah, yeah.
Okonogu.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he got picked right now as the number 6 pick by the Hawks. So
Right,
you
and now you got Detroit up next.
and yeah, and Onikia, whatever, I don't know. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering his name, but he was projected to go 9th or 10th.
Right,
So, like you said, these picks are what people are saying, and you know what? At the end of the day, these GMs are making their decisions on what information they know and
right.
what fits their team.
And the problem is, it's not really their. I mean, there's not really their fault. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? It's not like these guys are well known by any means whatsoever.
Oh no, so
You
yeah,
know,
I would think the top 5 were known. Even Denny was an unknown just
right,
because he was playing overseas. And there's not much that footage of him, and there's not, and you don't know what the talent level is. Just like Lamelo Ball when he's playing in Australia, the talent level over there is 10 times less than what it is in college here, or even in the NBA.
Right. So you have no idea what to expect out of these players. You don't know who most of them even are.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be a problem because like I said, one of the main things is because you didn't get to see the tournament. I didn't even get to see Obi Toppin play at all. You didn't get to see Wiseman play
No.
because of the fact that he had eligibility issues right off the bat. So he played like 1.5 games and then he never played again for was it Memphis, I think. So he didn't even get to play at all,
Right.
really. So, it's what are you gonna do with that? You know what I mean? Like you still got Obi Toppin out there. There's a bunch of players out there that
And New
are
York,
names that we saw,
yeah, New York is salivating that Obi Toppin is dropping because
Right.
that was their number one uh, want. So they're right up there
Onyeka
salivating.
Ogangu. Yeah, I see. He went to
Yeah.
the Hawks.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, apparently he's got a Mountain Dew sponsorship too. So, but I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what are you supposed to do with these players? You didn't get to see them at all in the combine. You barely got to see them in NCAA basketball because they cut it short, and they cut it short right when they were getting ready to see the tournament. So we don't get to see what they're actually doing, how good they are, anything like that. We knew that Obi Toppin was a good scorer, but he doesn't play defense to save his life. So, I mean,
Right.
right now it's all a hope and a dream. We have to be able to trust AK, Eversley, and we have to be able to trust Billy Donovan to know what they're doing, and hopefully, they're going to be able to put pieces in place to be competitive in the East, which is going to be hard to do because now you're looking at now that LeBron is on the left
Lakers.
coast.
Yeah. The West.
He's over right. He's on the left coast now. So the thing is that now you got players that are running to the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what it is. And you hear Russell Westbrook talking about he wants to go east. You hear James Harden talking about he wants to go east. So
Yeah.
what?
It's an
So what are
easier
you trying
path
to
to the
do?
finals. That's why.
Right. So and the ideal thing is that they want to be able to beat LeBron in the finals.
Yeah, and this is what I was alluding to before you came on, is that you have all these strong teams in the West, and like even if you're like 10 games over 500, you might not get into the playoffs. Where in the East, you can be 15 games under 500 and be the seventh or sixth seed. I mean, it's
Right.
just embarrassing the type of basketball that's being played in the East right now.
Yeah, and I mean, how who see look who is this guy the Pistons just drafted Killian Hayes from France. No idea who that guy
Yeah,
is either.
Killian
That's the
Hayes.
problem. We have and again you have you got Ball, you got Hayes. You're gonna have Obi. Is that? Oh, I thought that was somebody else. Man,
Yeah, it's Killian
I thought
Hayes.
that looked like Jerry Rice right there for a second.
Yes.
Ball headed Jerry Rice.
Yeah, so Killian Hayes is a point guard, small guard from France,
From
6'5",
France,
187.
right?
6'5", 187. You've got to put on some weight, kid. You're going to get pushed around.
And that's going to happen in the NBA anyway. When every rookie that comes to the NBA is going to get pushed around, and that's just what it is. I mean, look at it. You see his highlights now. He's a skinny little dude with skinny little legs.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
mean, like he can move around when you're dealing with other college kids. But you better start working out because now we're talking about a start date of the week of Christmas. So you ain't got much time, buddy. We
Not at
got
all.
Thanksgiving next week already.
That's
So you
right.
better eat that whole turkey yourself.
Hey,
That's all I
AE,
got to say.
AE, our one of our great listeners, Patrick over here, Pat Swanson from Antioch. He says if you're a top 5 pick, you need to be started right away. You agree or disagree?
I mean, ideally, the reason that you're in a position to have to pick in the top 5 is because you don't have any players. Unless you're Golden State, who just happen to have the injuries, and they were able to go to the Colts route when they had Peyton Manning, and they lucked into Andrew Luck. That's
Yep.
the only time that you're going to be, or what happened with the Cavs when they fell because LeBron left, and they ended up with Kyrie, and here comes LeBron. So I mean, if you're picked in the top 5 in the NBA, you better be starting because that just means that you don't have anyone else that's better.
Angelo, are you crying or are you laughing with tears? I don't know. I don't know what that is, Angelo.
It's probably a little bit of both because we're sitting here reminiscing about me with this damn thing, and the reason why is because we're yearning for Jordan still. I mean, we're still thirsty for the Jordan years. That's the problem.
Oh
After all
my.
this time, we can't stop thinking about Michael Jordan.
No, we can't. So Golden State takes Wiseman. He's 7'1", 237. Again, I don't think that he will be starting. I don't think he's going to get a lot of minutes. I think
I
they're putting him as development, even
Oh,
though
Wiseman's going to be a good player.
he is going to be a good
Wiseman's
player.
going to be a great defensive player. Number
I
one.
don't think he's going to get a lot of minutes till after the All-Star break. And the thing is that Golden State is one of the smallest teams.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing you got to remember is that, or if you didn't hear, there were talks between Golden State and the Bulls for the Bulls to move up to the number 2 pick,
Right.
and along with Wendell Carter. And then about an hour ago or so, they got word, or we got word that Klay Thompson had a leg injury.
Yep.
And what that did is basically put the kibosh on any trade for the number 2. And then the Terribles draft a bench player, average 9 points a game. Well, yeah, I mean that's what they do. When you're stuck at the number 7 pick 4 years in a row, you're not out there drafting all stars. And you got lucky when you got someone like Jimmy Butler. It was a diamond in the rough who no one knew anything about, except that he was homeless and he was this tough guy. And he was from Texas and he went to
Yeah.
Butler. And
I mean, there is. I mean, head in gems. I mean, Devin Booker, same thing. Was drafted like 12 or 13.
Right.
Who else is one of Giannis, 2-time MVP. Again, drafted 15.
So I heard something about Giannis, and I'm trying to think of what team it was that really the coach. It was Calipari. No, it was a Calipari. I think there was a coach that really wanted Giannis, but he wasn't sure about the way. No, you know who it was? It was so Calipari was, I want to say, either the coach or the GM of the Nets, and it was the 1996 draft. He really wanted Kobe Bryant, and what they ended up doing is they drafted Kerry Kittles because what happened is that when they came to him, it was Kerry Kittle's agent that came to him, and he was under the impression, this is his very first go round in the NBA, and he was under the impression that if he basically didn't do what the agent said, that he would never have the opportunity to work with his clients again, because apparently he really wanted to draft Kobe Bryant to the Nets. And
Wow.
Kerry Kittles was a fine player. I mean, he played for at least 10 years in the league. I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember that name very well.
Right.
But he ain't Kobe.
No,
Nobody's
not at all.
Kobe.
Nobody.
I mean, Kobe was Jordan Jr. I don't care what you want to say about LeBron. The Kobe was the best and the closest thing that you ever get to Jordan, and you're never going to see that ever again. You're never going to see that grit, determination, that killer instinct. I don't care what you say. That's who you're getting.
Wasn't Kobe drafted by the Charlotte?
So Kobe was drafted by Charlotte, and I think he was traded for Vlade Divac.
So who's kicking themselves in the where?
All right, so there goes Obi Toppin. He went over to the Knicks.
I called that one.
Yeah,
Definitely called that one.
yeah. So I mean, so he goes over to New York, and now he's going to deal with Tom Thibodeau, and who is the GM? Isn't he the GM there? He has all the control in the world in New York.
Is he the GM?
I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, he was in Minnesota, but
I don't think he's the GM. I think he's just a coach.
Let's see. I'm not. I couldn't tell you right now. I mean, I'm not. My name's not Mike Logic, bro. I don't drown myself in the NBA.
Yeah, Mike Logic is on the injured reserve right now. So
yeah, best wishes to Mike Logic. Hope you're feeling better
buddy.
soon.
I talked to him, right? Yeah, he's just the head coach.
Okay.
Yeah. So I talked to him before I came on live. He's
Gotcha.
watching it. He's got a little 13, 15-inch flat screen.
Oh, that's
so
right. He's
far away
right
at
up
the
in
end
the
of the
bed.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt
but
bad.
at least he gets to watch. I mean, that's better than nothing,
Yeah, you can listen to it. Right. Yeah.
But so I mean, and that's the thing is that it's such a crapshoot, especially in the NBA, because you see a guy in a gym and he could look like a superstar when there's no one defending him. Anyone could look like a star if if there's not Draymond Green sweating down your neck or talking all whatever nasty stuff he likes to talk. You don't have anyone like Shaq. I mean, they're showing Obi Toppin dunking on a Fisher Price hoop right there. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he's playing at the YMCA with no one around him.
Right, exactly. So I mean, like anyone can look like a star by themselves. I'm sure Mike Logic looks like a star when he's by himself too.
Oh, look at that! He's got a Fisher Price rim.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He
Man,
just dunked on it.
Yeah. I mean, Obi Toppin. I mean, I think he'll be a decent player. I mean, the thing is with Thibodeau, he doesn't play his rookies at all. You know that for a fact. And I know that fact because when I was playing there, he did not want to play
When
Jimmy
you were
Butler.
working there.
Yeah,
I
when I
don't.
was working there, he did
I
not
was
want
gonna
to play
say.
Jimmy.
I don't remember you playing for the Bulls, bro.
No, no, no. I got video of me with a big fail. I mean, it's like really grainy because it was the first time with the camera phones and all that. But
Mm.
shout out to my one of the guys I used to work. They put me on the floor for it. They spun me around. I already had a couple of bruise.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
Yeah, I went for
For
a layup. I completely missed like 6 times, fell like 4 times.
there you
But you
go.
know what? All the players that were during the timeout, they were cracking their nuts off. And so they pulled me to the side. They're like, dude, we haven't laughed this hard. You're still getting a prize. I still couldn't walk up the steps. I was so dizzy, man.
At
Could
least you got to. At least you got on the court, and unlike Jimmy Butler,
Yeah.
you got to. I mean, you got to look
I
for
got
your
on the court before
silver
Jimmy.
linings.
I
Right,
got on the
right.
court before Jimmy. That's
And
right.
that's probably true.
What do you think about the new hats? You seen them?
I haven't seen the new hats.
Oh man, they look sweet.
I saw the jerseys, and I think somebody was saying, somebody had commented that it looks like the Miami Marlins, and what it is that they kind of pulled the colors because you have the Hancock design on the side. What it
Right.
is you have the Chicago Theater and you have the World's Fair on there. That's what that was about.
Right, exactly. It's a dedication to the World's Fair and the
Hmm.
architecture of Chicago. That's why it has all the
Right.
gold trimming on the side. I think they're sweet. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, they're the best jersey we've ever had, but there's something
I
that
like the ones they had last year.
the baby blues.
Yeah, well, the black with the red stars and the blue stripes. Those are the ones
Yes,
that I liked.
yes,
Those are my
yes.
favorite.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the all baby blue ones.
Uh, no, no. I like when they wear the black jerseys. It's funny because people get a little nostalgic for the black with the red pinstripes, and I
Yeah.
think they're fine. My favorite is the all reds with the Chicago script.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The early Jordan.
Yeah. Those 84. I
Yeah,
got that's my first Jordan jersey, and I still rock that.
yeah. I got a Derrick Rose jersey, but big guys, don't look that great in basketball jerseys. Football jersey, I could pull it off. Baseball,
So
thank you to
football and hockey sweaters, right?
well, I mean, I could do baseball. Shout out to Bartolo Colon for making that a dream come true for me to be able to be a big dude that can wear a baseball jersey. I appreciate you. A Prince Fielder out there hooking it up.
That's right. That's
As
right.
long as you got a belt, you don't need suspenders. You know what I mean?
You're what was that? Pablo Sandoval, the panda.
Oh, bro, yeah, but see, the problem is he fell off so hard.
Oh my
Bartolo
god.
Colon, I think Bartolo Colon is still pitching in Venezuela as we speak.
Oh no, dude, he's still pitching and still hitting home runs. It was video of him like recently hitting home runs.
Yeah, and it was him and Julio Franco going to be tied for the oldest players in MLB history? Because I
Hey,
want to say Franco Franco played on the Mets when he was like 47.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He played for a long time.
yeah, man. So I mean, yeah. So this is going to be an interesting season. I don't know what I mean. This is such a convoluted off season right now because you have 2 months to prepare, if that. The way that last year went, sitting inside the bubble, what are they going to do this year? Are we going back to the bubble? I mean, the Warriors have a brand new stadium and they're trying to get it to 50% capacity, and who knows how that's going to work?
That's not going to happen in California. That is
No,
not happening in
no,
California.
because the population is too high.
No, not at all. And then even for us, we have such an outbreak right now with the COVID, uh,
Right.
and everything's being shut down. Anything with large gatherings are shut down. So how are they going to do that? I mean, I don't think there'll be an exception.
No, and especially not here in Chicago. So I mean, I don't know. So the Wizards are getting ready to pick here, and
And the Wizards are picking.
okay, all right, come on.
Yeah, it's. I hate the draft. It's
And
always
the and the
hurry
and
up
the
and wait.
Wizards got Denny. And look at this dude. I can't. You're probably a couple seconds behind. Look
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they have Denny Advia sitting at, bro. He looks like an old school gangster. I'm surprised he didn't have a cigar and a glass of wine sitting on the table. Washington Wizards. I mean, I don't know if I'd be hugging anyone if I got drafted to the Wizards, bro.
Yeah, get your bulletproof vest.
Well, it ain't that. It ain't that.
I
Well,
know because of the bullets. I'm making fun of the name.
yeah,
Oh yeah, total like Italian mobsters. I'm at the Italian restaurant. I got all the wine bottles. Yeah,
right.
I see what
Someone. It looks like the Wizards just made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
you're saying. Yeah, now go kiss the ring. Go kiss the ring.
Right. He's like, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding and
I,
ask me to join the Wizards.
I would you have been happy if they would have picked the Bulls would have picked Denny?
I mean, I feel like he's a guy that here's the thing though. Like you're talking about, he went number 9, so that's 5 more spots. You
Yeah.
knew he was going top 10.
Yes.
Um, he is a 2-time Israeli League champion. I mean, he has accolades. He's played professional ball. Now the problem is that what's going to happen is if he would have been drafted higher, or even now, what's going to happen is that he's going to be um compared to Luca his career. You know, at least the next couple years. You know,
Yeah.
so what's gonna I mean, I want to say his father was a pro ball player too. I think they're showing highlights of him back in looks like the 1960s, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
mean, I think the reason I would have said to pick him was because you have Marketing, who's a European.
right. Well,
Um,
and that was the other connection that you were going to see to AK. Now, what if AK would have picked him? What would have happened is that if he failed, or he wasn't good, or he just was average, all you would have heard was that AK picked him because he's European.
true, true.
You know that,
But
and that,
he's son of a star. Yeah, you're right. I know I'm about 20 seconds behind you, but or
yeah,
30 seconds behind. But I'm seeing these photos now. Yeah, but I kind of like see our GM and president as kind of what San Antonio did, and they started searching
yeah,
outside of the U.S. and saying,
overseas,
right, let me go get a Tony Parkin, let me get Ginobili,
right?
Kawhi, just getting all these players that were not was Kawhi overseas or no? Am I thinking of somebody else?
Who?
Was Kawhi did Kawhi play here or did he play overseas?
No, no. Kawhi played for like Arizona State or some. I forget what team he
Oh yeah,
was
you
on.
might be right, Arizona, but I mean, San Antonio's been known for finding these gems outside of the US.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's pop. You know what I mean? That's pop, and look, that's pop is the best no matter what. I mean, pop. I mean, who you got? You got Ginobili, you got Tony Parker, you got. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about Texas with these Euro players, man.
That's right. That's right. Dallas got
Because I mean, yeah, because Dallas got AK. Well, they have what's his name that they got
Nowitzki
from the Knicks. Well, yeah, you had
and
Dirk,
Porzingis.
For a long time, and that they got Porzingis. Now, Luca and Porzingis look good together, but the problem is that
Porzingis can't
Porzingis
stay healthy.
got hurt,
Yeah,
and he the same thing that happened to him in New York, and that's why he ended up in Dallas in the first place. So I mean, I don't know. I like the European players. The thing with the Euro players is that they start their pro career when they're like 19 or 16,
yeah,
depending on who it is. Because
yeah.
I want to say even Luca started, Luca was like, 3 hairs under his arm when he started dunking on dudes out there. And that's how that goes. So that's the Euro, but they do the same thing as soccer. So they're ready to go by the time their drinking age, which is like 8 in Europe.
Yeah. Europe, South America.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know where do we pick next?
Let's see.
I don't even know when it is. Let's
We
go.
picked
NBA.
44th.
Yeah, so that's a long
That's a
ways away.
long way. Yeah, we're not gonna stay on for that long.
No, but so now here's the thing. So we got the number 10 pick for Phoenix coming up. It'll be interesting to see who goes there because we're still looking at a few players that were probably projected to be a little bit higher. And now we know that there was some rumors out there about Kemba Walker
Yeah.
Kemba Walker for I want to say it was Otto Porter Jr. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
And like I said this earlier before you came on, there was a lot of smoke, but no fire. A lot
But
of
that's
smoke. But
that's the NBA is good like that. The NBA will sit there and gas you up and make you think something crazy is about to happen. And especially NBA, there's just rumors all the time. You got so many different sources on Twitter. You got the fan theories, like you got C Red Fred on Twitter, who's always like, "Hey, guess what's about to happen?" And then
yeah,
So I mean, it's and he's basically just one of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think this administration for the Bulls is very similar to the Cubs and the White Sox, where when they're quiet, they'll make their great moves.
Yeah.
As soon as everything's out in the open, it kind of messes everything up, and it doesn't allow them to work.
The other thing too about AK is, and I'm talking about Carter Shovis, who it's funny because Cap calls him Art Carter, which is, I mean,
Amazing.
it's accurate. But the thing is that historically for the Nuggets, he was the Nuggets, right? I want to say historically he's been very good in the draft.
Right,
But this is his highest ever draft pick. And the
right,
problem with that is that sometimes you get pressured into what people think of players versus how talented they really are. You understand what I'm saying?
right. And then we don't know what the collective was. I mean, I'm hoping that everything was put together as a team with president, GM, coaches, all that was put together, and they're not like the Bears where,
Oh,
hey,
God.
we're gonna select something and not include the coach in the decision, and you're gonna play this player, and guess what? You can't fire this quarterback. You can't get rid of this quarterback because we want him here.
Well, that's the guy. So the Suns went with Jalen Smith out of Maryland.
Jalen
And
Smith out of
yeah,
Maryland.
and like I said, that's the problem is that who I don't know any of these players because I don't pick up the remote and start watching college ball into the tournament.
Yeah, that's exactly when I start watching too the tournament because and funny you were talking about the tournament. Some of these players need that tournament to project them higher.
Yes.
And some of
Yeah.
these guys get really hot and they have a really good tournament and they'll shoot up 15, 20 picks, or maybe they'll even get on the board because they weren't even a thought until they
Right.
go crazy.
No,
Now,
I agree.
Jalen
I
Smith
agree
was
100% for that.
projected at 20 to the Heat.
By who though?
Uh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's all just projections. So
It
you
is.
really you who determines? Because the same thing we hear every year when Trubisky and Watson and Mahomes got drafted. Some papers and some websites had Deshaun Kaiser slotted at the number one pick. You know what I mean? So
And
I
funny
mean
you
it's
mentioned
yeah. So
that.
The Bears brought him in for a tryout today because Nick Foles died, and also Mitch Trubisky's arm fell off, and Tyler Bray is on the side of a milk carton because no one knows where he is or who he is. So they said, "Hey, let's go get the guy that was terrible for Cleveland, and then terrible in the game where was it? It was the 2018 first game of the season." Where Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Kaiser came in, played terribly, and then Aaron Rodgers came back and won the game.
He's like, forget this. I'll play hurt.
And don't forget that game that was the first Nagy game for the Bears. The Bears were up 20-0 against the Packers. 20-0.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean those are what their 12-4 season. You
Yeah, it
know,
was.
but since then, right now as we sit, in the last 2 years, the Bears are currently 13-13.
Yeah, it's I don't even get into the Bears because that's depressing.
But I mean, it's something. It's something that we when we release the podcast on Thursday, you're gonna hear my full rant. So whoever really wants to feel good about the Bears, feel good about screaming at the TV when you watch the Bears, just know that I did a good job for you. I promise you. I promise you. I spent a good 2-3 minutes just to kick off the segment, me screaming at this microphone. We had to get we had to go get a mop from all the slobber. I was like, what's his name from? I was getting all frothy and foamy at the corners of my mouth because I couldn't stop yelling.
This is true.
So I mean, I don't know. The problem is that right now, it's almost. I hate to say that right now the Bears are basically in football hell, just the same way the Bulls have been in basketball hell for a long time.
Yeah.
Where you're like you show glimpses of greatness, and then you just see it fall by the wayside, or you just sit in the middle and just be mediocre the whole time. You know,
Right,
you just never really know what to think about the
and
teams.
that was our problem with the Bulls is like, all right, guys, that one year with who's the European player we had? What's his name? Uh,
Well, who are
I
you talking about? The shaggy hair guy from Nocioni?
yes, no, not Gioni, the other one, the one we had after him. Ugh,
I
can't
didn't
remember
know
his
we had
name.
an.
He'd
I
always
mean,
shoot threes. Either way, he got hurt, and we
oh,
started
you're
tanking.
talking about Mirotic.
Mirotic, yes,
Yeah,
and he
Nikolai
comes
Mirotic.
back, and then he goes on the Bulls going on like an 8 or 10 game tear.
Win streak, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you would have just left him on the bench, so what? We would have got a higher pick. There's no reason to win games.
Well, I mean, the problem is that in order to save your job, you're always going to sit there and try to win games no matter what happens.
Yeah, I know players got to play, but
You
again,
know, so
there was
that's
eight.
yeah, that's always going to be the issue is that, and that's what's going to happen for the rest of the season with the Bears is that they're going to do whatever they can to try to win games, and even as a useless and futile effort that's going to be, they're not going to just give up and not try to win games. You know what I mean? Because what okay, so let's say they lose out for the rest of the season. You're not getting Justin Fields,
No,
okay? You're not getting your boy Sunshine.
no sunshine.
So who are you picking there?
So we do. So we do. Can we play some Bill Weathers?
Bill Withers, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I honestly, aside from my other favorite team, the Steelers, I don't even know what to think about the rest of the NFL right now.
Oh man, I don't know. Uh, I mean, it's like we're competing with the Jets and how inept our coaching staff is, how inept uh, our offensive lines and running backs are. But
And the funny
at least
thing
the
is
Jets can put
that
up points.
well, the thing is that the Jets head coach is a former Bears offensive coordinator, and their offensive coordinator is a former Bears offensive coordinator because they got Dow Loggins as their OC over there. Dow Loggins.
The blind leading the blind over there.
He looks like a hobbit. When he comes out there, he's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna throw the ball." And you're like, "Yo, who is this little dude latching on my leg? What's happening right now?"
Looks
Yeah,
like all right. So looks like the Spurs are going to get Devin Vassell, small guard, small forward from Florida State, 6'7", 194. Man, how are these guys so tall and just no weight on them?
because they, I mean
Just
that's what it is. You know, they're young. They're 19, 20 years old. They haven't filled out yet.
yeah,
They
yeah.
haven't hit the weights because I mean, look at you remember when Noah came into the league, he was thin
Oh
as a
my
rail,
god.
and
Oh
then
my.
all of a sudden he started working out, and you started seeing the veins pop out of his arms.
Yeah,
And
same thing with Giannis. Giannis was a
right,
skinny twig, and then he started hitting the weight room and being fed correctly. And I think a lot that has to do a lot with it, the
diet.
nutrition, the food.
Yeah, Devin Vassell out of
Yeah.
Florida State.
Yep.
I have no idea who any of these guys are.
No, no, nor do I.
Well, the thing is that because I think right now more than ever you're looking at such a star-driven league, and the problem is that all the stars tend to clump together on the same team. Jimmy Butler is one of the few guys that doesn't have like another superstar that he's playing with. But you got LeBron and Anthony Davis, you had Russ and Harden on the same team. Now you got Devin Booker, I mean, who's an up and coming guy, but he's going to have
Chris
Chris
Paul.
Paul on the team. You know, who you don't know who the best player on like I mean I don't know pick a the Charlotte Hornets. You know what I mean? I don't know who their best player is.
No,
No
no,
clue.
no clue.
So you know what I mean. So unless you do a good job of drafting like the Celtics have, you really don't know who's on that roster for these middle of the road teams. You know what I mean. If Giannis didn't drop into Milwaukee's lap, you still wouldn't know who was on Milwaukee's
Oh,
roster.
right. And then, do you even know where his brothers play? Because I don't.
No, I think one of them. Well, one of them was on the Lakers. I want to say, and I think the other one's on the team with him.
Oh yeah, one. Yeah,
Yeah, but like on the Atlanta Hawks, you know who's there because you got Trey.
yeah.
Um,
Trae Young. Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's just it is such a star driven league. Whereas, like football, they got at least one guy, and they don't have that option of kind of sticking together and forcing a trade to go play with another guy. You know what I mean? So they don't have that option there. So you don't see it the same in the NFL.
Did you
They have
see the Thunder traded for Looks like they traded for all. They took on Al Horford's deal.
That was a weird trade. I didn't understand that trade at all. I did not understand that trade at all.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Because now what they got Al Horford and like a boatload of picks
Right.
for Danny Green, who I did not even know was on Oklahoma City.
No.
Or how did he even get there? Because he just finished playing with the Lakers.
Yeah,
When did he sign with them?
I think he got traded twice.
Yeah,
Uh,
he must have got traded from the Lakers to the OKC. And the funny thing is that as soon as I saw that news, I put it. It was on Facebook, like Facebook Inside Rumors or NBA Rumors or something like that. And the first thing that I said was, "Well, now he can brick on another team because that's all he does is throws up bricks." So now you're going to sit there, him and Ben Simmons are building or throw up enough bricks to build a whole wall.
I'm trying to look. I'm looking at the picks they got. So they got 2 picks, 25 and 28 this year. And then next year they have their own plus a better of the Heat or Rocket picks. So whichever is the worst team, what a better pick in 21 and 22. They have their own if it's in the top 14, plus the Clippers pick, plus the Suns pick if it's outside the 13. Then they got their own pick, and they have the ability to swap with the Clippers because that was for that for Paul George.
That's right.
Plus the Heat pick if it's outside the 15, plus the Suns pick if it's outside top 11 for 23. And they have kind of the same deal for 24 and for 25 and for 26. So they're going to be stacked for the next 6-7 years.
Well, they're going to be stacked with picks, and what that does is that gives you the ability to swap and try to get a player. If you feel like you're in a position to go ahead and pull in some stars, you have that draft capital to be able to trade.
Right. Now, should have the Bulls have done that, blown it all up?
I don't think so, because I think you really want to see what Lauri Markkanen can do with an actual legitimate coach.
Yeah.
Because Fred Hoiberg was just run out of the place. You know, the problem is that I don't think Fred Hoiberg is a bad coach. I think when you're sitting there and you got on one shoulder you got Paxton, and the other one you got Gar Forman. I mean, you know, there's usually you have like an angel and a devil. When you got two devils over there just spitting crap in your ear from two guys who are not good at evaluating talent on the NBA level, I mean, it doesn't matter. So when you're sitting there and you're sitting there telling the fans that, oh, we're gonna get younger and we're gonna get faster, and what do? You bring in D Wade and you bring in Rajon Rondo. That's garbage. That's garbage. That is not a exercise where you're trying to tell the fans that you're trying to win games. What you're trying to do is you're going out there and you're trying to appease fans by saying, "Hey, look at the shiny keys. Don't worry that these keys only drive this crappy old pickup truck, but look at how shiny they are. No one cares about that. You know what I mean? So hopefully the idea behind bringing in Billy Donovan, behind bringing in Mark Eversley, behind bringing in Karnisovas is that you're going to start to build a new culture here. We're going to start from 2020 and look forward. I think that's the way that you have to look at it. You look at Garpax was the era between whatever happened between Jerry Krause and Jordan and Phil Jackson and on the Bulls that we know and love.
Right.
You go from there and you go to here because you did have your little streaks there when you had Derrick Rose. It looked hopeful. When you had Ben Gordon and Kirk Heinrich and Luol Deng and Joakim Noah, and you had the bench mob, it looked promising. But what happened? They got Derrick Rose fell in their lap. His knee fell apart, and then he came back and his other knee fell apart, So I mean, that's not their fault.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault.
They also didn't evaluate the talent. Derrick Rose fell in their lap.
Yes. I mean, that was just pure luck, or it was rigged, how the whole NBA was saying. Yeah, but you know what? We had our window, and because of injuries, we didn't make it.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, you also had LeBron. You had LeBron blocking the way, just the same way that Jordan blocked the way for Ewing and the Jazz and Charles Barkley.
The whole NBA.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So from 91 to 98, that's who was blocking it. And Hakeem only won in his two titles because Jordan decided to take a break, play golf, and play baseball.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know?
I mean, would that have been a great series? Definitely. But
Oh yeah,
I still see Jordan winning that.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too is that you don't see once Jordan was able to get over the hump of beating the Pistons because he needed pieces. We're not going to sit here and lie and say that he didn't need pieces to be able to get to where they need to go. But the fact of the matter is that he stuck with his team. Now, granted, free agency is a whole different ballgame now, but they didn't sit there and try to stack up teams. They used like, you know what? I play with who I'm drafted with. You had very few players actually jump ship. You had Stockton and Malone that stayed with the Jazz for what 27 and a half years. Um, the one guy that you kind of saw jump teams was Charles Barkley because he was on the Sixers and he was on the Suns. But guess what? When he's on the Suns, he went to the finals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he was, the round mound. He wasn't nearly as round as he is now. But at that time, that era of star stuck with their team no matter what.
I mean, you've seen it when teams try to put all these old guys together. The Houston Rockets had Clyde Drexler, they had Charles Barkley, they had Pippen, and then
Yeah.
and Olajuwon, all at the end of their careers.
Well, the mistake there was, LeBron's been doing that ever since he came into the league, ever since he had a little bit of um, cachet behind him. And when he went to Miami, look what happened when he went to Miami. You had everybody in the world follow him. You
Oh yeah,
had you had Wade, Bosh, LeBron. Don't forget, you had Mike Miller. You had once they lost to the Mavericks, you had Ray Allen show up over there.
yep.
So you had all these friends. Didn't they have like Shane Battier went down there? You still had Udonis Haslam down there. But what it is if there's the one guy I cannot remember his name now. There was one guy that and they had Mario Chalmers on that team too. But there was one guy that kept following LeBron around because when LeBron went back to Cleveland, I can't, James Jones. James Jones was his name. He was in Miami. Then he followed LeBron over to Cleveland. So half the squad went with him up there because he still had Mike. I think Mike Miller went up there. So that's if you look at the Lakers from last year. You had Dwight Howard. You had Danny Green. You had
Rajon Rondo.
Rajon Rondo. So what happens is now these stars, and now how long is this going to last? But they just basically follow LeBron around the league and says whatever team he's on, that's what team I'm going to sign on. You
You know
know,
what? You know what that looks like? AAU.
right? Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
That's
100%. And
And these guys all come
that's
from
where these players
AAU.
came from.
Yeah, they all come and play with each other or against each other in AAU. And guess what? You're like, hey man, wouldn't it be cool if we played together in the NBA? And when the
Exactly. And
opportunity
that's where the
happens,
mentality comes from.
yes, yes, it's not I'm gonna beat you because I want to be the best. It's
Yeah,
how about we win a
those days are
championship?
long gone.
Yeah, let's just win a championship.
Right. And you're never gonna see the I'm trying to beat you because you're my rival anymore. It's like, hey, yo, let's go have a beer after the game and see how you can get on my team or I can get on yours.
Yeah, or a banana boat.
Right. So I mean that's the one big problem with the NBA right now, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. But I will say this: uh, if the one thing that you really can't criticize them about is the way that they handle public relations. They had that snafu with what was going on in China, but overall, I mean, there's no doubt about it that Adam Silver is by far the best commissioner in all of North American sports. You know, you're looking at the way that they handle social justice issues, mainly because 99.5% of your league are young black men who are dealing with this stuff and have dealt with this stuff their whole life
Yep.
or are related to someone who's been dealing with this stuff. Um, they are definitely on the forefront of um, eh, racial equality, um, gay rights, all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like just equal rights. And I mean, if anything, even if you don't like the NBA, and there's people that don't like the NBA because of that, which is a
That's fine.
whole different thing.
That's a whole different issue. But I'm looking at
Yeah.
the NBA has been leading sports since the beginning. If you look at what David Stern did,
Yeah.
he
Oh, yeah.
opened, he got the whole world to open up to basketball.
Yes.
You know what? It's okay. Yeah,
Well, Stern and Jordan.
right.
Let's be fair.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, definitely. If it wasn't for Jordan, then the Stern era would not have been as big or as
Hmm.
popular. But he moved the NBA into Europe and into China. He
Right.
put those building blocks to where it is now. And without David Stern, the NBA does not survive. I
No, because you got to remember before he came in and before Jordan really brought such notoriety to the
mean,
league.
yeah,
I mean, you're talking about tape delay games, you know that,
exactly.
and that's why I remember watching. What was that? There was the movie I was watching, or I think it was like either Good Times or I can't remember the damn movie right now, but they were talking about, oh, we got to catch the Knicks game. It's on tape delay, and then and they go and watch the game like 4 hours after it played,
Oh.
or they would play the game at like 2 in the afternoon, and it would come out later. You know what I mean? So you try to bet on a game that happened 3 hours ago.
So
So
if you were at the game, you can make some money off some people.
well, and that's the other big thing too now is that all these stadiums are gonna have
Yeah,
sports
yeah,
book
we're gonna have kiosk now. Or you know what?
or just a window.
It's yeah, they have their window. Oh, but at the same time, we already have it on our app. So I don't know how that's gonna be different because now a lot of states have it on, ability to gamble online or as in your app. That's gonna take away from the NBA, even though the NBA did open the door to sports gambling.
Well, what it's going to do is um, by having that sports book at the stadium, they really just drafted you.
That's a good one, Zach.
Nice.
That's
Yeah, hey, maybe we don't know, man. This, like I said, this is all just such a crapshoot. Who knows? Who knows what's going on?
yeah, you don't know. I mean, all
Especially this team. You got Lowry or you got Lowry Markkinen who's supposed to be a star. Yeah, Wendell Carter Jr. has been mediocre so far in his career. Um, Denzel Valentine who keeps tripping over his own long ass chin. You know what I mean? Like he looks like the love child of like a donkey and Jay Leno.
you still got
And
Daniel Gafford.
Daniel Gafford, who looked good when he gets playing time. You got Kobe White. Kobe White reminded me of like a small version of Joakim Noah with all that hair flopping around.
Yeah.
And even look at him. I mean, he's got a good motor, but like his athleticism is super awkward. I mean, it's just weird the way he moves up and down the floor. So I have no idea what to even think about these teams anymore right now.
All right. Georgie just chimed in. He just said, honestly, he wasn't sure who they would select. There wasn't enough film on the players for me to have a researched opinion. Everyone wants a flashy name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed that they didn't get LaMelo. If a tourist drafts anything close to what he did in Denver, then the draft pick is good in my book.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's a extremely valid point. But like I said, I feel like because of the position that they were in at number 4, and because it was the highest he's ever picked, was he pressured into picking a player that he might not have necessarily wanted? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, and that's where when you look at evaluation, I think that's where you came into play.
All right. So let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
Go.
they want to extend Valentine. So here
Why?
is the no. Well, here's the thing though. Like Valentine, when he gets out there, he's a hard player. I mean, like he's a good bench player. I liked Valentine what I seen him, but I was just frustrated that I think he was like either the first or second number 7 pick that they took, because you had him, you had Kobe White, you had Denzel, and I don't think was Laureus number 7. Or I don't think so. Was he
Yeah,
that far down?
7 or number 8 picks for 4 years in a row.
Yes. So you sitting there with all sevens, and my big hope is that what we saw, or the potential that we saw out of Lauri Markkinen, is that it comes to fruition with, again, you can say it however you want, but having a European coach for a Euro guy, that should help him out. You know what I mean? Be able to talk to him, or a European GM. I'm sorry. And Billy Donovan being a coach of young men, of young players for a long time. I hope that also brings some of the need that they have, or fills some of the need that they have when they're looking for someone to help develop these guys. Because the problem is that if you don't develop Lauri Markkinen, at this point, just flush it down the toilet, man.
Yeah, I mean, they have a solid team. Let's just say the bench is done. The bench is pretty much done. You have a bunch of role players. So guess
Yeah.
what? Now it's time to find yourself a superstar, whether it's going to be through the next couple drafts or are you going to make some trades to find yourself a superstar? Like you said, if they trade for Kemba Walker, I think that changes the entire outlook. Oh, there, look at that.
There he goes.
There goes Georgie.
Yeah, I mean that is true. Everyone wants a flashy name, but at this point, like I said, when you don't see any of these players in a combine or during the during the tournament, who's a flashy name? Wiseman, Ball. I mean, I'm so sick of hearing about balls.
Aaron Naismith just got drafted by the Celtics, a small forward out of Vanderbilt, 6'6", 213, sophomore.
Is he related to James Naismith?
I highly doubt it. Highly doubt
I don't know. You know how those names go, bro. I'm just gonna put it that way. It's as far as I'm gonna go with that comment.
it. I know you're watching the same thing I'm watching, so I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. That's my point.
Yeah.
And they just showed like what 8 of the last first round picks or early picks all came from Carolina,
Yeah.
which is a hotbed, and it's a hotbed because of Jordan.
Yeah, and also they have their AAU system down there is just amazing.
Because of Jordan. Because everyone started flocking to Carolina because that's where Jordan came from. Even if they're just trying to soak up some of that sun and that soil that because Carolina blue. I mean, even here, depending on where you go, you might get shot over it. But Carolina blue is a super popular color.
Yes, it is.
And we're just like, no, that's Chicago blue. We're like, no, son.
No, son, that's Jordan blue.
Nope.
All right. So, all right. I'm looking at all these profiles for the Chicago Bulls players. I mean, you got Ryan Archie.
So Arch is actually pretty cool. Um, I like Arch. We getting Kemba. Yeah. Here's the thing. I would take. That's another player who is frustrating because he can't stay healthy. Is Otto Porter Jr. My boy Lionel Richie, man.
Lionel
You
Richie,
know
yeah.
my problem with him is that you can't have your theme song be all night long and only play a little bit of the night.
Oh, what are your opinions on Thaddeus Old Man Young?
He looks like an old man. That's the problem. Is that he looks like he's about 47, but he's only like 31, 32. And I mean, he's another guy who could be a very good role player off the bench or at the at the back of your starting five. I mean, I don't even think he's a starter on most teams.
No, no, no. He's coming off the bench late in the game. I mean,
Not even late in the game. He's coming off the bench in the second quarter. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because he's a player. He's an NBA player. It's not like he's not, it's not like he's Cristiano. That guy
yeah,
last name deleted, so I don't get in trouble. There's no FCC on our broadcast, but I'm just saying.
We also got Chandler Hutchinson, Shaq Harrison.
So I like
Spencer
Shaq. I
Bradley.
like Shaq Harrison. I mean, he's got a high motor. Chandler Hutchison is another guy who's just been injured a lot.
Yeah,
He came in the same draft with I think Wendell, and he's just been injured a lot. I mean, like Otto Porter is a good player when he plays, but he's so incredibly overpaid that and they kept saying, well, the Bulls weren't going to get anyone in free agency, so this was technically their free agent pick and blah. Man, it's such a convoluted, backwards ass way of thinking about it, and screw Otto. Oh, there you go. Cleaned it up there. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that. In case there's some children listening at 8:30 at night on a Wednesday. Zach is sorry for his language. If you're under 4, you can't spell anyway. So those are good letters. You can learn your alphabet that way. Anyway, but Porter. I mean, like he looked. We're like, oh, okay. He looked decent, but he's such a streaky guy. He'll go off for like 30 points, and the next game get like 4. So I mean, I don't know. And I think I told Mike before, my problem with Zach Levine is that he's got all the talent in the world, but even when you listen to him, he just sounds like he just finished reading a fourth grade level book.
Okay. Minnesota's acquiring Oklahoma City's Ricky Rubio, the 25th and 28th picks for a package that includes the number 17 pick. So Ricky Rubio just went around the world and back to Minnesota.
Yeah, man. So
What
yeah,
is
so
going on with
Shaq Harrison is
Oklahoma?
gone. Yeah, I mean Shaq Harrison was a fringe player anyway. He kind of bounced around the league before he ended up with the Bulls. Dunn was the guy that I know that John Paxson was in love with before they were able to acquire him for Jimmy. With and that's the thing, is that's the shame, is that you look at how far Jimmy has developed into the league, and essentially you're looking at Lauri Markkanen, who hasn't developed, Zach Levine, who can't play defense, and Dunn, who can play defense but can't do anything else except bust his teeth on the floor.
That was ugly, man.
That was disgusting.
Oh my god! I remember watching. I think I watched maybe like 5 Bulls games. That
Man,
was
his
one
te- his teeth almost looked like mine when he was done.
of them. Oh boy.
Thanks.
No, I meant like he just got that gap. Relax.
But yeah, I mean, again, I do not know what to think of this team at all. I mean, my biggest fear is that they're going to end up at number 8 seed again, and then be in basketball hell all over again, like they were for a good chunk of the past, 10 years, 15 years.
I
Just
mean,
not almost good enough, but
it,
not good enough.
used to drafting in the middle, and he can create value from drafting in the middle. Is it going to be more like in Theo we trust, and now in AK do we trust? I mean, he's got a proven record of drafting well, so we got to see what's going on there.
But I don't think he won about unless they give him something. Yeah, again, Otto Porter. I think the biggest problem with him, put it this way. This is how I'll equate Otto Porter. Otto Porter is in the same boat as Mitch Trubisky, because it's not Mitch Trubisky's fault that he was drafted number 2 overall. He didn't belong drafting that high, and they drafted him based on scouts and potential. He would be a fine player in the NFL if he was drafted like 23rd, and people wouldn't be criticizing him as much. But because he was drafted at number 2, he's got a lot of pressure on him. Otto Porter, because he has such a big contract, has a ton of pressure on him as well. The fact that he came here and hasn't stayed healthy whatsoever, that's a problem too. You can't help injuries though. That's the one thing, is you cannot control injuries. So you're not going to tell me that Otto Porter, an NBA player, is just going out there to put on his street clothes and sit on the bench every game. He wants to play, but what are you supposed to do if you're injured? You
So
know.
Greg Anthony's son, you remember Greg Anthony for the
Yep.
Knicks?
Oh yeah.
His son Cole Anthony, who was a point guard who went to North Carolina, 6'3", 184, just got drafted. That is gonna be a steal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're talking about like a high IQ guy. Look, they're showing him little ballers when he was young. Greg Anthony is a very high IQ player. So when you got guys that typically, when you have a guy um
Son of a
who's who's a son of a good player. Now we're not going to sit here and gas up Greg Anthony like he was
no.
like the best player ever, but the guys that have high basketball IQ, and then they have, like, if they have any physical talent whatsoever, they look good.
Yeah,
They usually do pretty well. So this is probably a guy that's going to stick around in the league for a long time.
look what Curry did. His father,
Exactly.
his father was just a straight shooter.
Well, and that's the thing. Well, and so is he. But and that's the thing too, is that Seth Curry looks good too. People forget about Seth Curry. Because he's not in the kitchen with his wife cooking up whatever they're doing in there, and they have the little daughter out there talking, in his lap.
What about Doc Rivers and his son?
Austin is not good. I mean, he's fine coming off the bench, and but I mean, like, I don't know, man. Your own dad traded you, bro.
Talk about being uncomfortable at things.
Yeah, I don't want your life. And yeah, he was like, "No, you don't want my life because I was a much better player."
Yeah, I think there's four kids of former players, or 4 or 5 of them, that are in this draft.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool to have, because we're old, and so we saw their fathers play. We're at that age.
yeah. You got Greg Anthony here, and don't forget. So I'm trying to think of who else in the league. You got Hardaway Jr. is in the league right now. Um, the Curry brothers are in the league right now. I mean, there's a good little list. Yeah, I don't think they're getting Ingram away from the Pels. I don't see that happening.
Nope, the Pels they're revving up to push on are the Pels on the East or the West?
The West.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Again,
they're
I think the NBA needs to realign some of these teams, just because it's it doesn't make any sense.
it should be the whole league versus the Lakers. I think that's the only fair thing to do at this point. You know what's funny though? It's because NBA the Bulls are on the East, and in NHL the Hawks are on the West, and they play in the same
Yeah,
building.
yeah, that's another thing that needs to be fixed.
So now, yeah, okay. So we got the Blazers pick coming up. Let's see who they grab, because the Blazers look pretty good, but they do need other players in there. You know what's funny is that when LaMarcus Aldridge went to he went to the Spurs after leaving. Hey, hey,
Speak the truth here. We got to speak the truth. Okay,
you know what
this
I
is
mean?
the
Like,
Amazon wish list. Okay,
Aaron Judge to the Cubs. Let's put it out in the universe. How about that? He's another guy who can't stay healthy either. Isaiah Stewart to the Blazers.
yes.
I don't know who this guy is either. The big tall guy.
I'm trying to.
Tall guy goes to basketball team. News at 11.
Yeah, he was projected to go 28.
Oh, okay. Well, he's now my favorite player because hey, did you see that? Watch. Look at it. Look at his coat. Watch him.
On the inside.
Yes, sir.
About to open it right now. There you go.
Yeah, baby. Jamaica, Jamaica. So that's my new favorite player in the NBA. I'm gonna get his jersey as long as they let him wear green and black and yellow. I'm good with it. Let's do
Isaiah
it.
Stewart, power forward out of Washington, 6'8", 243, a freshman. He was averaging 19 points a game, 9.8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2.3 blocks, and almost a half a steal.
Is that Isaiah Stewart? Is his name?
Yep.
That is a super Jamaican name.
Is it?
Stewart is, yeah, as a last name. Yeah. Oh yeah. Jamaicans have very colonized names.
Gotcha.
Wonder
Gotcha.
why.
It's the same thing like with the Filipinos who have Spanish names.
Pretend this is tea.
All right, let's see.
So wait,
Jordan,
the Timberwolves get to pick again.
yeah.
Number 17. Offering Felicio contract, remainder of payoff. Due to boil in for bucket of chicken.
Hey man,
What
that
kind of
can of
lifestyle?
Lysol is pretty expensive right now.
Yeah, that Lysol is probably worth that $30 million contract where they're good. Lysol runs more. But here's the thing with that Lysol, you can disinfect yourself from the stink off the bulls.
And the Bears.
Ugh.
Might need 2 cans of Lysol for this then.
Yeah, but only if you drink it.
I'm not listening to Agent Orange, man.
Well, at least, hey, here's the thing: if you drink it, at least you'll be too messed up to watch the games anymore.
Your vision's gonna be gone.
That's right. Or you just spray it in your eyes. Spray it in your eyes and listen to Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer on the radio. I mean, you can imagine a good team. Use your imagination.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, oh, what is he? What is he cooking? What is this? He's cooking that bro. See all them old Jamaican pots and pans. Look at this,
Hey man, that's where the flavor's at.
bro. What is he? He's making rice and peas and looks like oxtails.
Is that oxtail?
Yeah, yeah. Look at that rice and peas, oxtail. Oh boy,
You're
I know
getting
where Yeah, man. I haven't had rice in so long, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I had a Snickers bar, a little mini Snicker bar the other day.
Oh boy.
Yeah, bro. It was like,
Uh, the Clippers are trading Landry Shamet. Yeah, Landry Shamet to the Nets for the 19th pick. Who's Landry Shamet?
who were the Nets? Wait.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They got the two players that are hurt.
So the funny thing is that they were talking about James Harden. Wait. I'm gonna let you say this name for the Timberwolves, the guy they just picked.
All right.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
Pick is in for Minnesota.
I'm gonna let you try this one.
Oh boy. Oh, come on. It's Alexi.
No, yeah,
It's Alexi. I don't think you pronounce the J.
Pokuševski. Sevsky.
Pokushevsky. Pokushevsky.
Yeah,
You gotta,
Serbian dude.
yeah, you gotta break that out. Is it Serbian?
Yeah. Good God, look at this guy,
Jesus, I don't even think he's on the board.
dude.
Oh, yes,
No,
he is.
well, when you see his picture right there with his little striped shirt, look at his arms.
Oh, actually, this was actually projected to be picked. Look at that, at 18. They got him. They got who are they got? 7 feet tall, 200 pounds, 18, almost 19 years old, 16.7 points per game, 12.2
He can
rebounds.
shoot. It looks like he can shoot, but look at the size of his arms, bro.
That wingspan is insane.
He looks like a strong wind is gonna knock this kid over. Hell, it looks like a weak wind will knock him over.
200 pounds. When was the last time you were 200 pounds?
I was about 4, something like that. 4, maybe 5.
Freaking butterball.
Hey, calm down.
Let's see what they got here.
Been trying that since I started. My sports life is still screwed. Wait, at least anymore. Pacer fans. Who did you both want it for? It's it's such a crapshoot to like I said, and I've been saying for a while now. You don't know. I mean, it would have been great if Wiseman would have dropped to 4, which we knew was not going to happen.
We were hoping that for that trade, though.
That would have been great. That would have been great because I mean I don't see much in Wendell Carter Jr. I don't see the potential there personally. I think he's a guy that'll be, if you get the right, put him in the right system, he might be good. But I just don't. I don't see a lot of fire from him. And um, I think with who they ended up getting, they got the best that they were going to get at number 4 because it's such a weird spot. You were hoping they were going to drop into number 3, or number 2. But I'll just say this: I'm glad that they did not end up getting any member of the Ball family because I want no part of that.
Right.
Sorry.
I was okay with either Halliburton, Toppin, or
Hmm.
Denny. Any of those three would have been fine with me. Again, after that, after the first 6 picks, I didn't do that much research. Again, because I didn't watch a lot of college basketball prior. And like we said, we don't watch till the tournament. And I've always been like that. I don't watch until the tournament. There's
Hmm.
football going on. And I'm sorry, that tops everything.
Well, and not only that, but it's like you watch the college basketball. It's
Yeah.
it's like watching a YMCA rec league. That's why you watch the NBA, and you can see the thing is that with college ball, if you get that one team like um what the I forget this kid's name, the big stocky dude that went to Zion. So when you get a player like Zion, then you know that's going to be a star. You want to see him play every college game,
Yeah, and explode out of his shoes.
right? Other than that, who are you really watching for in college? Unless you have a favorite team and you live in like the Carolinas,
Right.
you're not watching in college,
Or it's your alma mater. You went to
right?
Indiana, you went to wherever. Then you're watching basketball. I
Because
mean,
I mean, who was watching Dayton basketball to know anything about Obi Toppin that you couldn't just see on YouTube?
I would watch like when Duke would play North Carolina. Didn't
Yeah,
matter who was on.
exactly,
I'm watching
exactly.
those rivalry games.
Because you're watching for the rivalry, right?
Right. At late at night, if you're at a bar and you're like, oh, the West Coast is playing, guess what? Oregon's gonna play. Hey, what? They got cool uniforms and a cool floor. Yeah, then
Yeah.
I'll watch it. But other than that, do I have to watch college basketball? No. If it's
No.
on and nothing else is on, then I'm watching it. But once the tournament comes on, but probably a week or two prior to the tournament, I'm trying to educate myself on what the top 25 teams
Well,
are.
then you start watching the conference championships.
Right.
That's when you really start watching college ball, unless you're like Mike Logic and you watch basketball in your sleep. You know.
And the thing is that we usually have one of the tournaments here down the street at the United Center. So
Right.
that's
Right.
why.
And that definitely makes a big difference. But I mean, other than that, I mean, how in tune are you with about college basketball in Chicago? You know, like I said, if you're in a small town where the college is the big game, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But I mean, like, it's just like if you're in Texas, you're watching every high school football game. If you're in Chicago, I don't know any of the high school football players in Texas.
No, not at
I
all.
don't. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. But even then, like now, even college basketball is so convoluted where they're just plucking these players out of the AAU, and unless you get a player like Obi Toppin who just happened to stand out and went to a team went to a college like Dayton, it's not very common for a really good player to go to a small school or an unknown school.
Yeah. Most of these great players that are high school players, you're going to see them at Duke, at Kentucky.
Vanderbilt, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, Vanderbilt, and then those are just kind of the fringe players because you gotta remember in basketball you only get 5 starters. So they got to go somewhere, and that's why it's such a big deal. And the turnover is so quick that
Especially with the one and done now.
right, and that's the thing too is that now how can you really evaluate these coaches if all they're doing is getting the very best players all the time, no matter what.
Right.
So it's not like football where you can actually see them play head to head, great teams against great teams.
I mean, Notre Dame does have a great women's basketball program.
They do, but so does Tennessee. Where they did for a long time.
Yeah. I'll watch the Notre Dame women's basketball if it's on, like on a Saturday, and I'm cleaning the house. I'll put that on and watch it. But
yeah, but you're not setting appointments to go watch.
No, not at all.
So yeah, Thunder. Who they got?
The Thunder up.
So here's a little bit of breaking news. The White Sox have hired Miguel Cairo as their bench coach.
Miguel Cairo.
Yeah. Former, I think he wasn't he on the Cubs or he was on the Diamondbacks. I want to say he was in the league for a long time, and I want to say he was on the Cubs.
So he's gonna be the bench coach.
Yeah. So Ozzy's not.
No. So let's see. Sox have had a good result with Venice. That's stupid. Ozzy's funny, Junior.
Yeah, he's always he's always got something smart to say when there's breaking White Sox news.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna post who they pick in the second round just on the page, kind of like the NFL draft. We just worry about the first round, and then everything else is just reported there. So we'll report it there. Again, the podcast drops every Thursday. We talk about all Chicago sports: Bulls, Sox, Fire, Bears. Suck right now, but we talk about them.
Yeah, we also talked about both Northwestern and Notre Dame, 2 undefeated local college teams. I know in our market here that people don't get all that gassed up about college, but right now you should be paying attention because they're both teams are actually playing some good ball right now.
Yes, they are. All right, for Big Z, he's E-Roc, and we'll see you for the love of sports.
Peace.